I'm an artist, and often artists have been concerned with images. More specifically, I'm an artist who works with technology, things like laptops and smartphones, or things we haven't come up yet, because I'm interested in the future of images and what those will look at. Images can really shape, they embody what we know, and they can actually come to define what we know and what we understand about the world. As an example, take this map of the world made by anonymous artisans in medieval England and is now crucial to our understanding of how medieval Europe saw itself. Jerusalem is at the center, the oceans are a strange ring, and there's all sorts of fantastic beasts and places from the Bible here. We're much more familiar, though, with a map that looks like this. Our understanding of geography has changed a lot. Now, this is supposed to be accurate. There's nothing in particular in the center, and we can use this for navigation. Nation-states have very careful borders. However, a lot of us probably haven't used a map like this recently. We're more familiar with something like this. Now, we're at the center with a blinking blue dot, and we can zoom and rotate based on where we are, where we want to go, and it's no longer on a piece of paper. It's on our laptop screens. It's in our phones. In fact, many of us probably used such a map to get here today. And it's amazing how these changes in our understanding and these changes in technology can really redefine the way our images look as well as the way we interact with them. As another example, take medicine. Our understanding of the human body has transformed so much, and with that, the images we use to understand what's going on, as well as the images we use to teach people. You can also look at architecture, where the images that we use to plan and design these buildings embody the values that go into the construction of it, the fundamental design principles that are building these things. Images contain within them a way of life. We put our understanding into images, we copy them, we use them to teach, we spread them around, we learn from them, our ideas are defined by them, and that goes on until the next person comes along and creates the next set of images. What I'd like to ask today is, what's coming next? What is the next step for images? Well, I don't know, and I'd be lying if I said I did, but I have a guess. And my guess is that it's going to involve this technology called augmented reality, or AR. The short version of the story is that a bunch of different camera and computer technology has advanced to the point where not only can we represent the world, but we can actually change what we're seeing in it. We can put things that weren't really there and change our view of things. A particularly famous example of this would be Pokemon Go, which all around the world people downloaded it, and it fundamentally changed the way they interacted with their environments. There's many, many different organizations and companies that believe that this is the next step in images, and organizations like Snapchat, the New York Times are investing in this, exploring what they can do with it because they think that this is what's coming and that how we use our devices, how we interact with the world will in some way be shaped by this technology. Also, augmented reality has many practical purposes. If you look at construction, at architecture, these sorts of applications where you can directly see what you're doing, where you no longer have to look down at a page, are extremely helpful. They improve efficiency in an incredible way and really could redefine how some of these industries function. There's all sorts of companies which are taking sort of older, outdated imagery and trying to figure out what the future is going to look like, how we can use these more efficiently to teach, to learn, to understand. Augmented reality is also very different from the sorts of historical examples I've given. This isn't a chart or a map on the page which you can kind of look at and then put down. These are increasingly in our phones, which we carry with us everywhere. They're coming very quickly to glasses, to contact lenses, to things that we're wearing all the time, maybe to devices we haven't yet thought of. And that's incredible. These images are going to be in our world. They're physically there, and they're redefining how we perceive our everyday lives. All this comes with a danger, though. If these images will truly be present in our world, and if they truly will come to be part of how we understand things, whose images will they be? Recently, we've all had to think a little bit more about the role that social media plays in our lives and whether these sorts of technological developments are actually good for society or not. And if we look to science fiction, we can see some pretty scary examples of what augmented reality might look like. If you can imagine one person having control of how every map looks, or one organization being able to define how we understand our own bodies, that can be very dangerous. There's no doubt going to be a lot of money and power involved with the control of augmented reality, so surely people will seek it. So is this technology going to be used to make us more human, to change the way we see each other for the better, or will it be used for isolation, for division, and for solidifying the current power structure that we already have? The first step to fighting something is to understand it, and the best way to avoid being fooled by a sophisticated and scary hologram is to have already seen behind the curtain about what's going on and understand the process that goes into it. And that's really what I'd like to convey today, that the fortunate thing about augmented reality is we haven't yet really figured any of it out. The fundamental technology behind it is largely free. There are many, many tutorials on the internet, and there's a lot of experimentation that is still going on. A whole bunch of independent artists have started experimenting with this technology, seeing what is newly possible, what things might look like, and no one has quite figured it out yet. No one has figured out how, with augmented reality, you tell a story. You make an argument, you communicate with someone, or you see yourself. And that's what's so exciting. This is our opportunity to really define what these next images will look like, to really take control of it for ourselves, to determine how we as a society will see things. Now, here's the time when you can pull out your phones. I have some instructions, but if you pull it out, if you have one of the newer iPhones, and click on that viewer option and look towards the stage, you'll see what I'm talking about. And the big thing is that if you look down in the bottom right corner, I have put all the code for this app, everything that went into it, online for free, because I want everyone to be able to change this, to modify it, to make something new with it, to destroy it, to ruin it, to change how everything really functions with it, to do something with it that I haven't yet imagined. For those of you who can't see, hopefully we can get it up on the screen. Augmented reality is already coloring our world. We have an amazing opportunity right now to really determine how our society will see ourselves, to see everything in the future. Let us take this power, let us celebrate it, and let us together write the next chapter in the history of images. Let us go forward, chasing color. Take it, download it, and do whatever you'd like with it. Thank you.